Hi, welcome to Daily Strength. Joe Stowell here. I just want you to know that sometimes it's important to read Scripture by actually putting ourselves into the sandals of those we're reading about. And one of those times certainly is the time when the angel came to Mary and Joseph separately and announced the coming of Jesus. In Luke chapter 1, verses 30 through 31, we read that the angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary. You have found favor with God. You will be with child and give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus." Now, we'd probably think that was a really special moment, but I have to tell you, it had to be pretty traumatic for Mary. Let me explain. You know, interruptions in our lives are inevitable. It's just the way life works. But I keep asking myself, why is it that they come at such inopportune times? Like, after listening to a zillion options in the phone answering menu, inevitably someone will start talking to me and I miss the key moment, only to have to redial and go through the whole thing again. And who's the bozo that always rings the doorbell just when the game-changing play is about to happen? Well, I guess we could learn to live with interruptions if it weren't for the fact that some of life's interruptions are disruptive on a far more serious scale. A phone call from the doctor giving you bad news about your cancer tests. That pink slip on your desk. Or the unexpected loss of a loved one. Or an unwanted job transfer. You know, all of these stack up as devastating surprises. Which brings to mind how Joseph and Mary must have felt when their lives were dramatically interrupted by angelic announcements. Their future was bright until the divine announcements threatened their sense of well-being to the core. Now, if all you have is the Christmas card mentality, like, "Oh, how precious to see Mary, Joseph, and the child with angels fluttering over them," well, then you've missed the magnitude of just how disruptive God's interruptions were for them. Like, what would Mary tell her mother? To say nothing of all the relatives and busybodies in her little village. Do you think that any of them would believe the story that began with, "Well, an angel told me"? And for Joseph's part, everyone would conclude that he had violated his fiancée's virginity, which in those days would have been a damning breach of religious and cultural standards. Believe me, no one would want a "Kitchens by Joseph" sign in their front yard anymore. Well, given the weight of it all, the amazing element in their story is that they both accepted the interruptions with a sense of resolved surrender. A surrender that put them in a place where God could accomplish far more through them than their uninterrupted lives would have ever dreamed of. Though awkward and challenging, God's unexpected change in their plans gave them the honor of parenting the very Son of God, and our world has never been the same, to say nothing of our lives. And so there's a lesson here for us. When God interrupts our best-laid plans and expectations, even when it seems like the outcomes are devastating, he has a far greater thing in mind for us. God's worthiness and glory is far more evident when it's expressed in the midst of suffering, isn't it? There's no greater confirmation of the trustworthiness of God than when we trust him, even in the face of the unexpected insecurities and uncertainties of life. And who knows what he has in store through you in terms of the impact in future generations when he rearranges your life. I can't tell you what God is always up to, but I can assure you that he uses interruptions to do things far beyond what we ever dreamed. So this Christmas, hey, let's get the point. When interruptions come, stop resisting, surrender, and start looking for the hand of God as you serve him obediently in spite of the uncertainty that is staring you in the face. You know, I've often wondered, what would have happened if Noah had said, "Hey, I don't do boats," or if Moses had complained, "I don't do crowds," or if Job had insisted, "I don't do suffering," or if Mary had declined, saying, "No thanks. A virgin birth is too great a risk," or ultimately, if Jesus had said, "I don't do crosses." Trust him. He knows what he is doing with your life.